He did.
Wow. Can't believe it. 2 years in a row. 62 Days of Horror.
62 Days of Horror.
Oh, what a ride.
I'm kind of tired.
I'm worn out, too. It's trying.
I'm definitely done watching some horror movies for a while again. I like horror movies, but...
Get your fill. I get Uber. I get double duty. I get these movies and all the other movies I'm watching. Because I love Halloween time. Today is Happy Halloween, by the way.
Happy Halloween.
And we're celebrating with a classic. We watched Evil Dead 2.
The Deuce with Bruce.
The Bruce Deuce. I do need to tweet him that. That'd be kind of funny. So, man, where do you start with this movie? It's directed by Sam Raimi.
Yeah.
And it's very much a Sam Raimi movie.
And basically, it's Evil Dead 1.
It's a remake of... that was intrigued me about Evil Dead 2. Yeah. Because it really is...
It's not a sequel.
It's not a sequel.
Because it's like, why doesn't he understand he was at this place before?
It is a straight-up remake of the original, but I think it's funny that they just called it Evil Dead 2. Yeah. It's revisionist in a lot of ways, too, because they obviously knew they're going to go on to make Army of Darkness. Right. And so this movie kind of fills in and alludes to that movie in a lot of... some funny ways that... they're going through like the ancient manuscripts and stuff, and they're seeing like this
picture of
stranger from the sky, the savior that's been foretold by fate, all that kind of just stuff to set up the next movie, and of course they have the ending, which is the beginning of Army of Darkness. So I instead of just remaking it, they just said, we're going to call it Evil Dead 2 and get people like the first one in here. And if you didn't see the first one, no big deal because it's a whole movie into itself. But I like this film. That's understandable. I love this film because of the same reasons why I like Dead Alive, actually. Just completely crazy, but very, very inventive and creative. Yeah. And I really appreciate that because... You watch enough horror, especially going through 31 days, they all start, except for some notable exceptions, they kind of all run together. They're all, because horror is a genre, obviously, and there's certain things that movies do to,
spook you.
But they get boring after a while. Yeah. So every movie tries to do the same things, and these last two don't at all. They're very, very, very creative. Yeah. So that's why I like it. What's your history with Evil Dead 2?
I actually Army of Darkness. It was the first thing I ever saw.
All right.
We rented it one day. It would have been when it first came out on video. We rented it, and just thought it was awesome. Like a bunch of my friends it is. And then that's when we found out that there was Evil Dead 1 and 2, so we went back and watched those.
The prequels.
But yeah, so it started with Army of Darkness for me, and then it evolved into about the other ones and stuff. And same, I there's so many scenes that like kind of blur together between Evil Dead 1 and 2 that I can't remember where it's
which one.
Because in both of them you have like the girl getting wrapped up by the vines and trees.
Yeah, the first one has like a rape.
The first one she gets raped by it, and I can never remember like which one.
Yeah, very disturbing scene.
Yeah, and one of my favorite scenes of all time is it must have been from the first one. It is they're going down into the cellar and it's like flooded with blood.
Yeah.
And there's one of those old Band-Aid tins just floating by, and it's such a subtle little sight gag, but it cracks me up every time.
This one has a sight gag too that's really funny when he has his hand in the bucket. He piles books on top of it.
Farewell to Arms.
Farewell to Arms.
Yeah.
So I appreciated that. I watched all these in order, but I came to it really late.
Okay.
So I was a freshman in college, I think, when I first saw the first one, which I guess is not that late, really.
Yeah.
But I obviously knew they were classics. I always heard about them, but it wasn't until then, for whatever reason, I checked them out and bought them all on VHS because that's what we had.
Yeah, that's how I had them. I haven't rebought them on.
Yeah, I just rebought it. In fact, the version we watched it, this is the first time it's been used because I've seen it so many times that I need to really watch it again. But I watched them all in order, and at first, I don't think I liked Evil Dead 2 as much as I do now. It's because Evil Dead 1 was kind of more of a a standard horror movie. Yeah. And so, watching that, I had this different perception of what the Evil Dead series was, which he kind of redefined in Evil Dead 2 and obviously Army of Darkness, which are very campy, very, very humorous, tongue-in-cheek, slapsticky, just like Peter Jackson's. So, at first I was kind of put off by it. It's like, it's really, like, I appreciated the craftsmanship of the gore and all the special effects and that kind of stuff, but as a movie, I didn't really care for it. But that has changed over time. This has become my favorite of the series. I put them in Army of Darkness kind of the same level, actually. But now I appreciate it for wholly different reasons. Because the first one was a horror. The first one was unique. For sure. There weren't a lot of movies like it. Period. Still to this day. But because the second one takes that a step further, that's where I've come to appreciate it over time. It's like a fine wine. It ages well. Even though some of the special effects might not.
Yeah, I'd say like aspects of it age well.
Yeah, aspects of it age well. The stuff that doesn't really age well is the stuff that doesn't age well in all movies. Which is the stop motion animation, which is just I don't think they ever meant it to be serious anyway. So I think that effects is still there. It's really funny and kind of crazy what's happening. But that and the blue screen effects, because they didn't use green screen back then. It was blue screen. So all the like kind of dirty matte outs and stuff. That kind of it's off-putting nowadays, but still, it's kind of the flavor of the movie. That's what gives it this character a lot of times. Yeah. The cheesiness. Of course, you have Bruce Campbell in there, so cheese factor's automatically high. One of my favorite actors. This movie, I think, made me appreciate him as an actor. Even watching it again today, as a physical actor. He's such a great physical actor, especially when he's doing the hand stuff. It's really quite good. Yeah. He's made a name for himself as a B actor, B-list celebrity, but. He should have more stuff.
I think he's like the A list of the B list. I mean, like
I agree.
To the point that it's like,
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying like he's some like.
No, I'm not saying. Yeah, I'm just
people know and respect him.
Oh yeah.
But it's just his brand of acting is so awesome. It fits this kind of movie perfectly, which is I understand why he and Sam Raimi have been. Partnered up so many years because their styles really complement each other really well. Evil Dead, it's awesome. Go see it. Go see all of them. Go see all three of them.
Absolutely.
Favorite scene?
My favorite scene, hands down, is, pun intended, I guess, is the scene where he's fashioning the chainsaw to his hand. Because I think it was never my favorite scene before, but watching that scene today and just kind of recognizing that iconic image that it is now of him, when you think of Ash, you think of shotgun and chainsaw hand. And just like watching him, put it together, and just like this weird little montage, just like all this stuff and like brackets, and it's like
typical Raimi.
Yeah, and it's like
really quick.
What's going on? And then all of a sudden it's like groovy. It's just
the groovy,
and that's just kind of like solidifies. So that for me. Hands down, the best scene.
I kind of want a poster, just like him and that, just a screenshot of that scene, just like groovy on it. But like the 70s, like type or the font. There's so many to choose from. I can't. It's hard for me to pick one scene. There is a sequence in this movie. It's a scene. It's not really a sequence, but and I think I like it because so much of the movie is very bombastic and loud and over the top, and that this scene kind of stood out for me a little bit. And as far as it's quietly a very impressively shot scene,
okay,
and it's the scene where it's almost, I would say like 10 minutes in or something. It's very near the beginning. But he's running through the house away from the demon.
Yeah.
And it's following him, and they have the whole, tracking.
Right.
Whatever. I guess what they used was, I watched the special features. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2, but I think they did the same technique for both. They just literally put the camera on like a 2x4 or a piece of wood and just carry it. Had 2 guys carrying it. Yeah. So that's how they achieved it. But it's a scene where it's following through the house and breaking down doors as soon as he closed them. And it's all one shot.
Like around the turn.
Yeah.
Like in between the wall, that one like tight wall.
Yeah, in between. It's amazing. Yeah. I think it's so cool. It's such a cool technique. I always like it when when filmmakers try to do long takes like that.
Yeah.
But to do a long take like that and to have so much physical actions going on around
reset everything.
Yes, you kind of have to get it right the first time, and if you don't, you have to. It costs money and time, obviously. So I really, really appreciate that scene. I think it's really, really cool. Which is kind of weird. It's not like one that really jumps out, but it's pretty nifty. Pretty nifty stuff.
It's a good scene.
Yeah. Normally, this is where we tell you it's coming up tomorrow. But what we will do, though, we'll have kind of like a wrap-up video where we give out some awards, like a fake awards show.
Yeah.
We should make it a real award show. Get some awards that actually send them to the people. Like, who the hell are these people? Movie creeps. What the hell is that? But we're gonna. I don't know when that'll be. It might be tomorrow. Might be a couple days. It depends on our schedule.
I'm gonna say honestly, probably early next week.
Okay. All right.
Brandon, just because I have the conference.
Oh, yeah, Brandon. Sorry.
So
Brandon has a life.
Yeah.
But it's forthcoming though.
Yes.
It'll be fairly soon. So look for that. But in the meantime, go to moviecreeps.com. It don't cost nothing. Go look at our stuff on there. It's still in beta. The website's still in beta, so there are lots of features coming. But it's it's for you guys. It's a site made for you guys, so we can go talk about movies. Anything you want about movies too. You can create a group and talk about, I don't know, Sigourney Weaver. Random, right? But you can do that. You can have a whole Sigourney Weaver section to yourself.
Just keep it appropriate.
Just keep it appropriate. Well, not like that, frankly. But it's a community, so go check us out, and we'll talk to you there. We'll talk to you there. You guys go away. We want you though.